if you really love your children, you won't get involved in the noise or the mess. And I make sure that I always think about them first.
And when you're dropping your kids off, you actually visually see how that is no longer.
Being alone has been the most challenging part of my divorce.
Does it upset you when you see her out and about with Jonathan Majors?
Upset me? No, if she's happy, that's a blessing.
My greatest fear was for my husband to leave me after 10 years of marriage, the way that my dad and my mom separated. And that's exactly what happened.
So people have been saying that both Tia Mowry and Meagan Good are struggling after their divorces, just in different ways. Tia's out here posting all over social media, acting like she's living her best life, but the streets are saying it's not all as perfect as it seems, and she's allegedly begging Cory to take her back. As for Meagan, she kept it classy and wasn't being extra about her divorce the way Tia was. But some fans still feel like Meagan's choice in men has caused its own complications. But here's where it gets interesting. Cory Hardrict and Devon Franklin are now both finally speaking out and setting the record straight about what really happened in these marriages. And it seems the truth is something completely different than what Tia and Meagan told us. All right, let's start with Tia and Cory. These two were together for almost 2 decades and married for about 14 years. They also have 2 kids, a son born in 2011 and a daughter born in 2018. Now, Tia and Cory were often seen as a black love goals couple. They often spoke about the importance of maintaining a strong marriage, family values, and representing healthy black love in interviews and on social media.
I see Cory as my partner in crime. You know, it's like I'm not doing this alone.
Yeah. And Tia's been with me every step of the way. Like through the ups and downs, the bad, the ugly, she knows ins and outs, everything. You know, she knows it all. So it's like, I'd rather share that with somebody, you know, for the rest of my life than someone who don't know you. And then when everything, just say if everything was great, you don't know if it's genuine. You don't know. You don't know if it's real. You know, at least I know Tia got my back.
But then one day, Tia woke up and decided she was done. Tia filed for divorce in October 2022, citing irreconcilable differences, and the divorce was finalized in April 2023. So what happened? Well, Tia claimed she had graduated from the marriage with Cory and talked about how it wasn't serving her spirit and her growth anymore.
I knew when I really started to focus on my happiness. I feel like women, we tend to focus on everybody else's happiness, making sure that everybody else is okay. You start to really work on yourself, love yourself, know your value, know your worth, and then all of a sudden there's this awakening. And it's not easy. It's a hard journey. But at the end of the day, I feel like it is so, so worth it. You know, my marriage was a success.
Yeah.
I look at it as like a curriculum when you're in college or high school, right? You're learning, you're growing, you're evolving, you're creating. And I was able to create with Cory some beautiful, amazing children. And at the end of that curriculum, and at the end, there's a graduation, there's a celebration. So that's basically, you know, how I'm looking at it now.
So after all that went down, fans had a lot of opinions, and they started telling Tia that she was making a mistake and that she needed to go back to Cory and fix it for the kids, and so on. So there was a whole lot of unsolicited counseling on social media. Well, Tia didn't like that, and she started clocking people and talking about how she was never going back to something that didn't serve her anymore. She wrote, "Just because the dating life is complicated doesn't mean I'm going to go back to something that no longer served me. That's like implementing, if I don't book an audition or a part as an actor right away, I'm going to give up on my dreams. Please just stop. I ain't that weak. Please move on because I have. Thank you. Next." But then, after that, we start seeing Tia outside. I'm talking a whole lot of dancing on social media, a whole lot of look at me posts, thirst traps. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with Tia feeling herself on the gram, but it just felt a little forced. Like Tia was trying to rebrand all of a sudden. Now fast forward a bit, and Tia ends up getting a TV reality show that was supposed to be about her life after divorce, her healing, her glow up, all that jazz. And wouldn't you know it, on that same show, she basically goes and proves what everybody already suspected, that she regretted the divorce and low-key wanted to go back and fix that marriage.
I've always wanted the family dynamic of having a mom and a dad in one household. And when you're dropping your kids off, you actually visually see how that is no longer.
Being alone has been the most challenging part of my divorce. It's times like this when I feel and wish that my sister and I were still close. And I could, pick up the phone and call her. But that's just not where we are right now.
Wasn't she the one who filed for divorce? And she's on TV crying?
Now look, it's normal to have mixed feelings and second guess yourself, especially after 14 years of marriage. But that's exactly why Tia should have stayed silent instead of going on talk shows to talk about how she graduated from her marriage and claiming she's the happiest she's ever been. Anyway, after all that finally started to cool off, here goes Tia again on social media, posting her and Cory together, sharing throwback photos, posting the kids, little family moments. Basically, she made it seem like she and Cory were back together, because none of these posts mentioned co-parenting. The captions all talk about family love and family moments. So of course, the people ran with it. Everybody thought Tia and Cory had worked things out and decided to give their marriage a second chance. Now, me personally, and this is just my opinion, I feel like Tia 100% helped fuel these rumors, because she knew exactly what she was doing with those posts. Making Cory and the kids the thumbnail, posting family pics back to back, all that, while knowing folks were already whispering that she and Cory were back together. And for months, she didn't clear up not a single thing. But hold up, because that wasn't the end of it. So after months went by, Tia went back on the gram, and now all of a sudden, she wants to put the reconciliation rumors to bed. And once again, she starts posting thirst traps and telling everyone she's single and ready to mingle. She even read some of the DMs she was getting from men supposedly shooting their shot.
There are like thousands of DMs here. There are athletes. There are musicians. You're really single? Are you only dating millionaires? Can you give a regular dude like myself a shot? Oh, let me zoom in on this. Okay, I see. What the hell? What the hell, auntie? Is he saying bubble bath with candles and I'll give you a massage, maybe? I don't know. You found yourself again. Being a twin myself and growing up in the 90s, you've always been an idol. You got this. Thank you so much.
And all those DMs she was showing, it was giving self-flattery. It was giving, the streets want me bad. Men want to marry her. Younger men in her inbox acting feral, fawning all over her. And she's just so flattered by all these men who supposedly can't live without her. Okay, girl. But then the real reason she even posted that video in the first place starts to slip out. So turns out, Tia noticed that Cory was getting flooded with comments on Instagram from women telling him how fine he is, how he leveled up after divorce, leaving heart eyes emojis, and basically throwing themselves at him. And honestly, it was probably all of the same women who were telling Tia to leave Cory because the marriage wasn't serving her. Now look, we don't know these people, so we can only speculate, but the way Tia has been moving since the divorce is not giving happiness and fulfillment at all. And when you're walking around saying you're the happiest you've ever been, talking about how you got this brand new sense of freedom, like you was released from prison the minute you got divorced, like you hadn't felt joy in years because you were married to this man, it just screams trying too hard. People who are truly at peace being single don't act like this. In fact, you can compare her behavior to Cory's. While Tia was out here doing the most on IG and talking about how she was being chased by athletes and millionaires, Cory was literally sitting up there talking about how broken he was and crying himself to sleep over losing his family. And you could hear it in his voice. That man was hurt. But he still kept it classy and never badmouthed Tia.
You know, it's tough when it feels like you're going through something alone and no one understands, and you know, no one's there for you, and it's just like, you know, when you're a man, especially a black man, they're like, oh, he's tough, he's strong, but you know, it was a year and a half crying myself to sleep every night. You know, nobody see that. Yeah. Nobody see that. Yeah. You know, like, you know, you live 5 minutes away from your babies, you know what I'm saying? Because people who know Cory Hardrict know that his kids and his family was everything to him. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I'm stronger than I thought I was. Yes. I'm really stronger. And that by the grace of God, it's like I'm here and I'm still going.
And while Cory was out here doing these kinds of interviews, pouring his heart out, Tia was doing the complete opposite. She was parading around, learning every new TikTok dance, smiling ear to ear, acting like she just got released from jail. Now, if Tia was just some random celebrity and didn't have real fans, nobody would even care what she got going on. But people actually loved her, like genuinely. So when they look at her now, it's more like, girl, this ain't it. Because yeah, the streets might look cute with the lights on, but there's nothing out there you're missing missing out on. And let's not forget, even though Tia kept saying she graduated from her marriage and all that grown woman talk, she herself said on her own show that Cory was the only man she'd ever been with and the only experience she had.
You know, I've never dated.
That's right.
I've never dated. Cory was my first.
Right. Yes.
Everything. So I wasn't even allowed to date until I was 18 years old. I met Cory when I turned 20, and I lost my virginity at 25. There, was that it? And then we got married, boom!
So yeah, maybe Tia felt like she was missing out on something, and she wanted to go outside and see what else was out there. And maybe she thought Cory was out there seeing somebody new, so she felt like she had to remind everybody, and him, that she still got it like that. Like, just in case he pops out with a new woman, she already laid the groundwork. I'm not bitter, I'm not mad, I'm not sad, I'm good. That's the vibe it was giving. Because from what I see, Tia does a lot for the gram, and she seems way too invested in public opinion and how people perceive her online. Meanwhile, Cory doesn't seem to move like that at all. He doesn't look like he's chasing validation, posting for attention, or trying to prove anything. But anyway, tell me what you think, okay? Drop it in the comments. I really want to hear your thoughts on this whole situation. And now, let's switch gears real quick and talk about Meagan Good and her divorce from Devon Franklin. So with Meagan, it's a little different because, according to her, it wasn't her decision to get a divorce. It was Devon who pulled the plug after 10 years of marriage.
Devon Franklin was way too good for you.
Oh, no, Devon left me.
He left you.
Yeah.
After all you went through to be with him, because you went through What happened?
What I can say is it's not that anybody did anything wrong, and I can't say that he f***ed that up, and I can't say that I f***ed that up. We grew from it. I don't think that any time was wasted. I think that everything in life, every single season, you do learn so much, and you do grow so much, and you do give so much, and you do get so much.
How'd you f*** that up? But I know he talks to God, so I don't want to go there.
You know what? They were only here for this amount of time. I got to be that close to them, and I got to give this much to them, and they got to give this much to me. And of all the people in the world, I got to, you know what I'm saying, and be really, really thankful for the time that you had. It changes the perspective of how you move forward, and it doesn't change necessarily the hurt or the things that you may have to work through in accepting and in healing, but it does give you a better perspective. And I think that it's my conscious mind in every single season to choose what best serves my quality of life and best serves the other person's quality of life.
Now I have to say, Meagan just comes across as a lot more mature than Tia, and she's actually 3 years younger. Meagan has been moving quietly with Jonathan Majors, and she hasn't played the social media games, hasn't begged for attention, and really just keeps things low-key for the most part. Now Devon, I could be wrong, but he isn't really coming across as that genuine in his post-divorce interviews. He's basically talking in circles, saying a lot, but not really saying anything real, and it just feels a little performative, like he's trying too hard to control the narrative.
So it started with, even before divorce, having an understanding that where I am at that point in time, I couldn't see the future, but I knew that where I was and kind of what was going on and the turmoil I was in, that I had to do something.
Now, maybe there's something Devon and Meagan agreed to keep private, and that's why Devon can't say what he wants to say. Either way, from the way it's coming across, it definitely feels like something more went down behind the scenes than just them growing apart. As for Meagan, it's true that she handled the divorce gracefully, didn't crash out, didn't badmouth Devon, kept it classy. So Devon and Meagan were married for nearly a decade, and many people probably remember that relationship for how much Devon constantly protected Meagan against backlash from the Christian community regarding her style and fashion choices. Unfortunately, in December 2021, Devon filed for divorce. Let's be real, this marriage had so many bright red flags. For instance, in January 2023, Meagan opened up on The View about how the divorce helped her rediscover herself in a lot of ways. One of the biggest ways that they were different is when it came to their faith. Now, Devon might not have established a church of his own, but he was a preacher and was deeply religious. And as such, there was an expectation from the church that he was going to end up with the perfect Christian woman. But instead, he ended up with Meagan. Now, don't get me wrong, there is nothing wrong with Meagan, because she was also a Christian when she met Devon. But even though she was a Christian, She was not as religious as he was. Well, at least not as religious as the church would have liked her to be. She smoked, drank, and as an actress, she sometimes had roles in movies that the conservative church felt were improper for a preacher's wife. And to Meagan's credit, she did try her best to be the type of partner that the church felt like Devon should have. She stopped smoking, and she even went celibate before they got married because she was trying to get more spiritual and all that. She even became pickier with the type of movie roles that she took and rejected many of the roles that came her way. But that was still not enough because she was never really accepted by the church no matter how hard she tried. At the end of the day, the bullying got so bad that she eventually had to stop going to church altogether because it was such a hostile environment for her.
When Devon and I got married, I no longer was receiving criticism from just people in the world. I was receiving criticism from people who were Christians. Like brutal attacks I was getting on my character, on my husband, on different things. And so I wasn't ready for that. And I think the first maybe 2.5 years.
She was constantly bullied for everything, even for things that she did outside the church, like the time a woman tried to belittle her for what she wore to the grocery store.
The grocery store, and I looked at a newsstand, and I saw you, and you had your breast shown. So we gonna cover up, right? We gonna cover
Wait a
up.
minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. No. No. That is not what we're here for. She's not gonna cover up. She's gonna wear what she wanna wear. In the name of Jesus. Amen. Amen.
But her choice in men is always going to raise eyebrows. A lot of fans are saying she seems to gravitate toward men who need to be saved or fixed, and that kind of dynamic usually doesn't end well. People who are drawn to someone in a dark place often think they can be the light for that person, like they're going to love them back to life. It's giving hero complex. And from the way it looks, Jonathan might have gravitated to Meagan for that exact reason, instead of actually doing the work on himself. And what usually happens is that the hero hits a breaking point. They get tired, realize there's no real reward at the end of the tunnel, just more codependency, more emotional labor, and it gets exhausting. That's when people start walking away, because it's too draining to keep carrying someone else's darkness. But let me know your thoughts on all this. Do you see any parallels between Tia Mowry and Meagan's situation? Leave your comments below and I'll catch you in the next video.